Well, as we get back into our routines this September, we are talking about easy breakfast ideas. Diana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, it's one of those meals that we can often put the least amount of thought into, but it is so important.
It is, especially having a good source of protein, because that's really going to act as an anchor for your energy and help you get through the rest of your day. And so starting off with breakfast first thing is so important, but so many of us rush through the morning and, you know, think about maybe grabbing a granola bar on the way out or stopping for coffee and a muffin later, and that's really not the best way of going. So I wanted to give you some really quick ideas and also some tips on how you can maybe do some of it in advance in case you really don't have time in the morning.
The more time we can save, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have a French toast recipe for us.
Yeah, so French toast is the easiest breakfast ever. And my friends always say, you make French toast for your kids before school? And I'm like, yes, because there's egg in it. So the easiest thing to do is to, first of all, crack your egg. I put butter in the frying pan first. I love butter. I use butter for most of my breakfast things, for French toast.
Taste better.
Yeah, so, you know, don't be afraid of using butter. Butter is part of a healthy diet, no problem. You just don't want to have a whole pound of it.
Yes.
So 1 egg will do 2 pieces of toast, and then about a tablespoon of milk. And you're just going to whip up your egg. So while you're whipping up your egg, I've got a silly little whisk here. While you're whipping up your egg, you can turn on your stove and put a little butter in there so it starts to melt. And once that's melted, then you're going to just grab the bread and dip it in your egg. And don't let it stay in there too long because it's going to get soggy. And then just pop it on your butter.
Is that bad if I like it a little bit soggy?
Well, I mean, you can do. And then maybe you want to add more egg. But I only put 1 egg in, so you only get to have so much. Whoops.
But if you want some extra protein, that might be the way to do it.
And actually, at home, I have a flat bowl, so it's also easier.
It's a little bit easier, yeah. Or maybe you can even use a plate, right, if you have a deeper plate.
And you can use up the rest of your eggs, so then you can have that one for breakfast today.
Great. And you can prepare those in advance.
Yeah, so then that's going to cook. And while we do that, the other thing that I like to make is these egg bites, or however you want to call them, egg cups.
They look great.
And these are really simple. You can freeze the ones that are scrambled. I haven't actually frozen the ones with the egg yolk that is still soft, but these I made, they cook in 15 minutes. And these ones here cook in 10 minutes. And what you're going to do, so you can do this for me, is grease the pan. So we'll just grease maybe 6 of them just to save time. And then the mixture that's going to go inside is a mixture of egg and milk with some pieces of broccoli. So I'm just going to go around you here and get the...
And so how long could you freeze these for if you're making them in advance?
I would try and use them in 1 to 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then if you want to label them to make sure you know when they went in, you can do that. But if you put them in the freezer underneath your fridge and you see them all the time, then that's great.
I see this as a great opportunity for a rainy day. Make a lot of breakfasts in advance.
Sure.
Maybe make the French bread as well.
Yeah, so
French toast, sorry.
Yeah, French toast. If you make this a bunch of them in advance, then you can just put them in the toaster and heat them up, and then you'll be able to have those for breakfast.
And almost everyone has like a toaster at work that they can just pop it into, so it makes it super simple.
Exactly. So then you can just pour in, if you did this in a little measuring cup, it wouldn't spill. And then you'll just pour in egg, and then you can drop in a few pieces of broccoli. I pre-steamed these. This could be like your leftover broccoli from dinner the night before, and kids tend to like broccoli. My daughter did say, is there broccoli in my egg this morning?
Do you want to cook any of the vegetables that you're putting in there?
Yeah, they were steamed, because otherwise they'll be crunchy. You're only cooking this for 15 minutes at 350, so it's not going to be long enough to cook them.
Okay.
So that's why leftovers are great, because you've got them sitting in your fridge.
All right.
The other thing you can do is just make a little cup. So I also put the butter in the pan for the ham one. And then you can just drop an egg. If you wanted to put, you know, a slice of tomato underneath, make it really gourmet.
That's
you
very
can put
fancy.
some spinach in there if you want, and then pop your egg on top.
And you can do a whole egg for 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can cook that also for 10 or 15 minutes, and it'll be a soft yolk, just like the ones that I did in there.
Okay. So and at what heat do you want to
I did that at 350.
350. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's what they look like once they're done. Fantastic. And you have a few other ideas for us here. You have kind of an easy take on a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, and this one here, you can actually heat it up the next morning. So you could make it the night before. Now, I cooked my egg in the microwave. So you take the butter and spread it around the inside of the cup, and then you just crack it egg inside and whip it with a fork with a tiny bit of milk, like you're making scrambled egg. Put it in the microwave for a minute. You've got this fluffy egg. You put it on top of your English muffin. I've got tomato, spinach, then the egg and some cheese. And then you can wrap that up in saran and put it in your fridge. And the next morning, pop it in the oven or the microwave, and the cheese will melt, the egg will heat, and you can take it with you to go. So that's really great,
and everyone at work's going to be envious of your beautiful breakfast.
Yeah, and do note that I always have fruit. I'm just going to flip those over one last time. I always have fruit. on the side of the plate for your
just to
breakfast,
balance
just
it
to
out,
make sure
right?
you have the vitamin C that's going to help you absorb the iron from the egg or the peanut butter. So the last one here is just a nut butter spread onto a whole grain toast. I've sprinkled it with some granola, put apple slices, and then we've also got a little bowl of fruit, which you could put yogurt onto if you were hungry enough. So I think the key messages here are try to cook in advance. Don't be afraid of using butter in your cooking. I love to have it on my grilled cheese and my veggies. And you know, this one, Natural, there is a lactose free. So if you were lactose intolerant, you could do that. It's an organic butter, and it's made with just sea salt and cream. So nice, clean ingredient list. So when you're using your foods, choose whole foods and try to have a little bit of a plan before you start off the week.
Diana, thank you so much for these ideas. I think they're things that we can all follow and maybe, you know, modify a little bit according to our dietary restrictions that we might have. Fantastic. All right. So if you have more questions or if you'd like more information, you can go to eatingforenergy.com, or you can call Diana at 604-739-3290, or follow her on Eating for Energy or at Eating for Energy. We'll be right back.